Thank you for joining in today for another 3-minute discussion on a New Testament character that was just after the Lord. Just had to be in the presence of Jesus. Today we're going to look quickly at a character in Mark chapter 5. It's actually the woman that has struggled with the flow of blood physically for 12 years. You know that story is nestled right in the middle of the story of Jairus, the synagogue ruler, who's gone to Jesus to ask that he might heal his daughter. On the way, they run into this woman who absolutely insists that she touch Jesus. Actually, she didn't want to touch Jesus. She wanted to slip through the crowd and touch the hem of his garment. Her conviction was this. It's written very clearly in Mark. She absolutely believed that if she could touch the hem of his garment, that she would be healed. And so she pushes her way through the crowd and in fact touches the hem of his garment and is healed. Jesus, in an amazing twist in the whole story, turns around and asks who it was that touched him. The disciples are a little bit shocked by his questions because there are people absolutely everywhere. And this leads us to, I think, a key point in the whole story. Because of the fact that this woman initiated the whole story, the whole scenario, she initiated the whole scene. She put together the whole plan, approached Jesus, touched him, and was healed because, verse 30 says, power went out from Jesus. Such an interesting idea that we could come up with a plan to touch Jesus in the back, him not even know who it was, and yet us receive the power that comes from him. Amazing story. Nestled in that story is one key word, and that is the word power. It's the word dunamis. Very familiar Greek word. It basically means inherent power. It is the power that is resident in Jesus at all times. He didn't have to conjure it up. He didn't have to get in a particular frame of mind. He didn't have to ask God to equip him or empower him, especially for an act of service. There is a power about him every time you attempt to touch him. It's essentially like every time you touch fire, you'll get burned. Every time you put your hand in the water, you'll get wet. Every time you touch Jesus, there is an inherent power about him that will flow into your life. So you don't have to wait. The obligation and responsibility is ours to literally seek him and touch him and know his power. The glory is, it's not only power that flows to us. The King James does an interesting thing with that word and says it is virtue that flows to us. Literally, all of who Christ is available to us for that touch. May God help us this week to be committed to seeking him and finding him and being in his presence. At every moment recognizing there's an inherent power in him. And when we touch him, will we be changed. Thank you for spending a few minutes in Mark chapter 5 and joining us again today for just the meat and potatoes.